I'm bringing Jedi back.
I'm just kidding. This isn't a music video. But I gotta say, I am super impressed with the Anakin Skywalker rework. Even though he didn't get a Zeta, he has been granted the rank of rework, but he does not get to be a Jedi Master and have a Zeta. This trio is looking pretty good. General Kenobi now has a Zeta. Long overdue. We've got Anakin, no Zeta, but still the tune-up is looking pretty sexy. We're bringing Jedi back, ladies and gentlemen, and it looks like Anakin in particular, with General Kenobi, is able to enable Jedi to take on Malak teams pretty decently on offense. Now, a big disclaimer to that is it doesn't look like it's necessarily going to be a defensive wonder, but ladies and gentlemen, this is how the game works for anti-meta teams. I'm going to classify this as every team I'm showing you right now, anti-meta. And anti-meta 99 out of 100 times means you're going to be able to manage to beat the meta, which right now the meta is going to be Darth Revan lead with Darth Malak. But you're probably not going to hold very well in defense. And so what a lot of you are going to have Darth Revan. What I'm going to advise is if you want to use this, if you're having a hard time with your Darth Revan team beating Darth Malak teams, it might be worth it to you to have a loadout saved, maybe shift some mods if you want to on your climb when you have to go against a Malak team. But have two squads that you run in arena, one that you put in on defense, which will be Darth Revan. That's going to hold better on defense, in my humble opinion. And then have your Jedi team here with Anakin, which can hopefully enable you to beat those Malak teams. You're definitely going to need to have good mods to pull that off. And look down in the description below. I've got some of the mods shared for where my boy SWGoH's team is at. I don't personally have my team ready for this. I needed to do a little bit more testing and shifting with mods, but SWGoH was testing this all day. And so everybody give him respect in the comments, because he really did a lot of testing here, in particular with Jedi Revan lead and with Bastila lead, both of which seem to be working pretty well. And even Bastila seems like it might have some defensive potential there. Might have been a fluke. It kind of remains to be seen here. But this is really good stuff to see. And then, of course, I know Arnold showed Yoda lead. I love my boy Yoda in the leadership spot. Love seeing that working as well. I know you guys have already seen that, so let's look at this. Now, something I want to kind of hit on here is there's so many different compositions that this is working in, which to me is really good news. Nothing seems to be a clear consensus yet. You've got Jedi Revan lead working, you've got Bastila lead working, you've got your Grandmaster Yoda leads working, and so what it's kind of making me think is something else is coming, which makes me even more excited, because we've got a Snips rework, we've got a General Kenobi rework, or I guess tune-up, and Anakin tune-up. They seem to be working a lot of different compositions, but nothing concrete yet, and we know we've got the Clone Wars, the Geonosis territory battles coming up. They've promised more Clone Wars content. So, are we finally gonna get more Clone Wars era Jedi? Woo! I love it. So I have to admit, when it came to the Jedi reworks the Jedi meta that we had, I was really happy about the Jedi meta. I mean, I wanted a Jedi meta no matter how I got it, and we got it with Jedi Revan. But that was an Old Republic Jedi meta. The Jedi of my childhood, the Jedi that get my heart pounding, my fandom, just rolling, are the Clone Wars era Jedi in particular. And so I can't tell you how excited I would be to see them have a more prominent place in the meta. We want that rock, paper, scissors meta, right, my friends? That's what Capital Games has kind of said that they want to see push towards, have more diversity in the meta, and I'm really hoping these reworks are the beginning of that. That kind of remains to be seen, but for now, my boy Anakin, I think he's bringing Jedi back, ladies and gentlemen. All right. right, so a couple notes on attack strategy with these teams if you do want to run it. You'll notice here in all these battles, we're going to mark Dark Bastila. Dark Bastila is the one who really gets this team going. It can be tempting to mark Darth Revan. Now, having that turn meter or that cooldown increase on him is nice. However, you're not going to take advantage of all those bonus attacks, and then you're going to have a mark on Darth Revan, and his ability that equalizes his health when he gets below 50% can make that pretty complicated. That said, my boy Gamer Rigo does say if he does get a chance to go for Darth Revan and take him out in one hit, for example with Grandmaster Yoda's second special, it's usually worth it, but a lot of times it's a little bit too risky, and then he just equalizes health and he comes right back at you, and it can be a bit tricky. So best to just go for Dark Bastila because she is going to be one of the biggest threats on this team. You want to be very careful as well not to trigger Darth Malik's thresholds. Try to avoid him as much as possible. If you can get healing immunity on him, it helps, but a lot of times you just kind of want to save Malik for towards the end of the battle. Honestly, Malik and Darth Revan are going to be a bit tricky, but again, if you can one-shot them, if you confidently one-shot either of them, go for it. It's just usually not going to work that way. And so generally, the kill order with this team, whether you're going with a Jedi Revan lead or whether you're going with a Bastila lead, is take out Dark Bastila first, and then you probably want to go for HK-47 next. Sith Trooper's probably going to get in the way. His taunt, oh my gosh, Sith Trooper's taunt can just really be annoying. Now, if you've got Snips in here, he wasn't able to work Snips in quite yet. I've had a bit of a hard time getting her to work too so far, but she does have that Dispel on her basic now, and so if you can work her in there, might be nice to be able to avoid Sith Trooper a bit more effectively. But for now, you may just need to bite the bullet and burn through him, but definitely pay attention because you've got HK-47, and HK-47's mollywop is a ticking time bomb, especially against Jedi. And if you wait too long to take him out, he's gonna pop you for 140 plus K. Ain't nobody hiding from that. And so that's something you definitely need to watch out for. So generally, the idealistic kill order here is going to be Dark Bastila, HK, and then you're going to want to balance between, obviously, Sith Trooper. You kind of want to save him for last if you can. You might need to just bite the bullet and take him out, but then Darth Revan and Malik, and just be cognizant of Darth Malik's thresholds. Once you get Dark Bastila out, especially if you can land some healing immunity on him, and HK-47's no longer where you can probably go for Malik, and then save Darth Revan for last. And I am showing you a defensive battle where Bastila was able to get a win on one of Gamer Rigo's shardmates. So, by the way, big shout out to Gamer Rigo's shardmates. I've got their names down below in the description. They went to bat for us and got some footage of what this looks like on defense, which is really helpful. So, really, at the end of the day, probably not going to be the best defensive team, but look, it did hold on defense at least once against Darth Revan, so that's notable, right? Kind of, pretty much. So where I think this is going to be practical and usable, if you can afford to have 2 arena teams, if you're struggling to beat Darth Malik, it may be valuable for you to use one of these teams as a secondary team just for your climb. I also think this is probably going to be notable to use in Territory Wars and Grand Arena if you're struggling to beat Darth Malik teams. What I'm really hoping for that this is leading towards, though, is maybe 1 or 2 more additional Jedi coming to the game from the Clone Wars era that can build on this synergy that General Kenobi, Anakin, and Snips now have, and hopefully become a viable counter to those Malik teams, or at least to significant meta teams, because that will be a very valuable thing to have in your back pocket as you go through Territory Wars and Territory Wars and Grand Arena, especially because right now a lot of people want to place their Revans on defense. You want to have maybe your Bastila teams. We've got a lot of Jedi teams right now, and so maybe working a 3rd Jedi team in there that might be limited towards Clone Wars synergy would be very nice to have in this game, especially if it's going to counter Darth Malik, which right now, so far, there are counters, but we're still figuring it out. It's pretty tough. It's pretty tough going against Malak right now, especially since the nerf on Palpatine lead. All right, my friends, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm super stoked about this Clone Wars stuff coming out right now. I hope that it's going to lead in a better direction. We need positivity in this game right now. Kind of been a bit bleak. I've already made videos on this. You guys know how I feel about it. I'm trying to be happy right now, though, because when I saw the reworks coming in for my favorite 3 Clone Wars characters, General Kenobi, Anakin, and Snips, I was beyond stoked, and seeing those reworks come to fruition, pretty cool. At a glance, I was kind of disappointed with Anakin, to be honest, because he didn't have a Zeta, but look, Anakin's hitting like a truck right now. I don't think he needs that Zeta, and I'm pretty okay with that because I've got Zetas I need to invest in Darth Malak right now, and Anakin just really doing work. I mean, these midichlorians are out of control. Obviously, Qui-Gon Jinn got it right, everyone. Anakin's midichlorians readings are unlike anybody I've ever seen. Look at these damage numbers. Oh man, all right, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, go ahead and do so, and please, my brothers, hit that notification setting so that you can be the first to know when I am sharing new videos for y'all. All right, my friends, thanks again for joining me, and as always, my brothers, don't forget
my dead body. Sorry about the mess.